What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, I'm Chris, this is Jas, and I cannot believe it's been 2 years since we moved to Costa Rica.
In August of 2021, we moved from San Antonio, Texas to move to Costa Rica, and 2 years in, we couldn't be happier with our decision.
About 7 months into our journey, we did an update video filling you in on everything and all of our accomplishments up to that point. And it's been about 18 months since that video. So today we want to fill you in with everything up to this 2-year point.
So we can pick up where we last left off, which was us having our baby. We announced that we were pregnant and we had just moved to Escazu.
We gave birth in Hospital SEMA to a beautiful baby boy named Luca. Everything went well. We knew the pregnancy had a little complications going into it. We had a great team of doctors and we couldn't ask for a better experience.
We go into pretty good detail in our video about having a baby in Costa Rica. Check it out in the link above if you want to learn more about what that experience was like.
After we had Luca, we realized that we should get a bigger and more baby-safe house. So we started looking. We found a beautiful house on Facebook and reached out to the owner, and she invited us over for dinner for an interview, pretty much essentially to see if she liked us enough to sell us her house.
I think I remember Luca was about 3 months old at that time too, which is crazy to think about when we first saw the house that we wanted to move into.
We initially fell in love with the pictures of the house. It had everything we were looking for. It's the right size, had enough bedrooms and bathrooms, a couple offices, and it was in a beautiful location with scenery. We came and toured the house in person. It was amazing. It lived up to all the pictures. I conducted a home inspection on the house with my experience as a custom home builder, and so it was one of the best constructed houses that we had seen in Costa Rica.
After Chris's inspection, we actually made an offer that was $15K lower than what was posted. And because of that, they were okay with selling it to us for what we offered.
So after we made the offer, we had to move into the financing process. We weren't going to make a cash offer. We needed to work with banks, which can be tricky here. So we started going down that route. Soon after that, we decided we needed a nanny.
Yeah, we needed some help with Luca, especially once I decided to go back to work, which at the time was in a month. So we found our nanny, Raquel, and we got lucky on the first try. She's awesome. We love her. Luca loves her. And she's been great ever since.
So when we moved to Costa Rica, we wanted to document the entire experience from deciding to move to Costa Rica and just figuring it all out. We want to do this for 2 reasons. One, to share with other people who are considering the same thing so they can learn from our mistakes and learn from the things we did well. And also just to document the journey for ourselves. Right. So we can look back in 1, 5, 10, 20 years and Luca can see the things that we went through. With that said, we started a blog called Blogging Money Life. About 9 months after we started it, we were still operating in the red. So Jas and I sat down, put together a 6-month plan, set some goals, and ultimately we decided if we did not create a profit within those 6 months that we would shut down.
It was either create a profit or reach a traffic goal. We were looking at 2 different statistics. So with all of the blog stuff happening, it was around that time where it was time for me to go back to work, which was another reason why we wanted to put that plan together so that we could balance our life with Luca, with blogging, and with my full-time job. I had 4 months of unpaid leave. I was working remotely, so it was just a matter of me being able to go to my office and work from there, which wasn't too terrible, but it was still a little bit of an adjustment, going from being with Luca every minute of the day, essentially, to locking myself away in my office.
So while Jas was transitioning back into the workforce, I was busy working with the bank, providing them with paperwork and documentation for about 3 months. I wanted to know every single detail about every dime we currently have and exactly how we plan to pay for the house in the future. So 3 months of working with a bank, we get a phone call from the bank manager, and he tells us that we do not currently make enough money to qualify for the loan we want. So we pretty much either have to put 50% down or make more money.
At the time, I had just started my new job. I just started working again, but I was already looking for a new job. And us hearing this from the bank made us realize, okay, it's time to jumpstart this. The timing was perfect because I want to say within a month of them telling us that we didn't make enough income, I had found a new position that put us into the bracket of income that we needed to make in order to qualify for the loan for the house.
And we were both excited about this new job for Jas because it came with a nice title. The guy who hired her, he seemed like a really cool guy, and he was pumped about having Jas on, and he was super happy about mentoring her.
Yeah, he was grooming me for the C-suite, which I was very excited about. Every position that I go into, I'm always excited about new opportunities to grow and learn. And he seemed like a great guy that I could learn from and work with.
So not long after Jas's new job, we received our permanent residency. As a foreigner, if you have a child born on Costa Rican soil, you are able to apply for permanent residency. So we have an awesome attorney who we've been working with for various things since we moved to Costa Rica. He filed our paperwork for residency. Like 5 weeks after he submitted it, we had our paperwork saying we were approved for permanent residency. One of the benefits of getting our permanent residency was that we were now able to apply for a driver's license.
I wasn't able to do border runs because I was watching Luca. He couldn't travel yet without a passport. So I couldn't drive for several months after he was born. Chris still was able to do a border run and was able to maintain his license. So this was a very important step for us both to be able to drive.
We got our driver's license now, and we have family that want to visit. My mom, sister, her husband, and baby Ruby, our niece, all came out. And baby Ruby's 6 months older than Luca. So we decided to, since we got our driver's license, to take a road trip. We rented a 12-person van, loaded it up, and together we visited Tamarindo and La Fortuna, which we made a video about. You can check that out if you're interested.
Yeah, it was a really good trip. And it was Luca's first trip, his first time doing a vacation, like being in the car. And he was, how old was he, like 3 or 4 months at the time?
3 months.
Yeah, so it was very memorable.
So family leaves, Jas is back to work. We got a full-time nanny, which relieved me of many of my house husband duties.
At least during the week.
At least during the week. We're blogging, but there's still something missing for me personally. I'm ready to get back into construction, and especially now that I have my permanent residency. So before I had my permanent residency, I was taking every opportunity to volunteer and to go on job sites to help friends out here who were building. So I had this great idea to become a construction consultant in Costa Rica. The business is Costa Rica Dream Home Consulting, and I offer general consulting, owner's representation, construction phase inspections, and pre-purchase inspections for anyone buying a house.
Yeah, and Chris definitely hit the ground running with his business. It's doing well, he's getting clients. And just from our personal experience with Chris doing an inspection on our house, being able to say like, hey, here are the things that, could be improved, it saved us $15,000 and that we didn't have to spend on buying a house.
One of the cool things about being from the States and living in Costa Rica is being able to host Thanksgiving. So that's an American holiday. It's starting to become more and more popular in Costa Rica. Like they're selling Thanksgiving themed stuff at grocery stores.
Yeah.
But really, to truly experience it, I think you gotta experience it with a gringo. So we were honored to be able to host our friends and our neighbors and do the whole spread that we spent 3 days cooking for, and
Yeah, we were really excited about it, even with Luca being so young. And it's my favorite holiday, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be able to celebrate it, have some traditional American Thanksgiving meals, have some good conversations about what Thanksgiving is like in the States. And it's something that I think we want to continue to do. So it was very memorable and very special. So we just passed Thanksgiving, and then it was Christmas time. The year prior, we spent Christmas in the States with Chris's family. But for the following year, we decided to have Christmas in Costa Rica with my family. We spent some time down in Manuel Antonio for a little bit, spent the second half in Escazu. We had an amazing dinner at a French restaurant for Christmas that we really enjoyed. And it was very special. It was Luca's first Christmas. He got to spend it with his aunties and his grandma.
got to meet his cousin for the first time.
That's right. He got to meet his cousin.
Well, we get back from our Christmas vacation, and 'tis the season, the bank's calling again. But it's not with good news. We get denied. Again. So now, at this point, we're like 6 months into the process, and we're still going after the same house. We make the income that they're looking for, and we check all the boxes. Our bank executive is like, man, everything looks good. Really think you guys are going to get this house? I'm like, well, if you had to put a percentage on it, he's like, I don't want to put, well, if you had to put a percentage on it, he's like, you're looking 95, 98% certain. I'm like, sweet.
Yeah.
We'll call the movers. Start wiring the money over to the bank. Then we get the phone call. Hey guys, the board does not like the location of the house. The board would like to see you in a condominium, because condominiums have amenities, and closer to the city.
Yeah.
Because if we default on this loan and they have to foreclose, they want a house that's easier to sell. So he's like, here are your options. You can either make a 50% deposit again, that's back on the table, or we can raise your what you wanted to get financed for, and you can pick something up in the city. We're like, no gracias. This is the only house we want.
Although we looked briefly for other places, but nothing seemed as special as the one that we liked initially.
Plus, this seller, she was still willing to work with us. She's like, no problem. I believe that you guys are supposed to be in this house. So, keep going. Don't give up. In the meantime, check out this bank. My son knows an executive there. You start the process over. We got some time to fill. So why not entertain some more visitors?
Right. And this is when my aunt and my cousin came to visit us. And it was a good time. We spent some time in La Fortuna, which they both really enjoyed. And I was working a few days during this, and during that time, Chris actually spent some time with them in Jaco as well. So they got to spend some time at the hot springs and the beach.
It was a quick trip too. I think it was less than a week, maybe 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And if you're unfamiliar with La Fortuna, you got to check it out. Beautiful mountains and volcanoes and greenery and hot springs.
It was their first trip too to Costa Rica.
Oh yeah.
So we also wanted to make sure we showed them a good time. Like, what are some of the best things to do here?
And since then, Junior has come back and brought guests.
Yeah.
Specifically for La Fortuna, so check it out. It's beautiful. Well, our guests have left, and it's been 6 months since we set those goals for Blogging Money Life, and guess what? We didn't reach those goals.
No.
So now we had to downsize. We had an editor, we had writers, we had a blog manager.
A virtual assistant.
We had someone basically who was implementing Scrum.
Helping us organize.
Right processes.
Yeah, develop some really good processes for the blog.
But we didn't surprise these guys. They were all in on the 6-month plan. So they all knew where we're heading, and constantly doing updates. We met every day and talked about our goals and where we were. Jas stayed on and ran a skeleton crew. She had employees from her other blog help out with this blog. I walked away from my daily duties, which was good timing for me because business was starting to pick up with Costa Rica Dream Home Consulting. We get the blog stuff figured out, and guess who's calling?
It's the bank.
It's the bank. They're calling. But they're calling with good news. Can you believe it? About 9 months into the process, the seller is still sticking with us. We're talking to her regularly. She believes that we are supposed to be in this house. And, man, we believe it too. You know, stick with us that long. Bank says, hey guys, good news, you're approved. Great. Time to get Andres Gomez, our attorney, on the phone. He also walked us through everything because the contracts are all in Spanish.
Yeah, he was translator and lawyer.
And lawyer, yep, and consultant. He covered us from front to back, and, you know, we'll be forever grateful for all his help throughout everything we do in Costa Rica. Anyway, the process for closing went super fast, especially compared to the whole 9-month ordeal.
Right.
And it couldn't have came at a better time because guess what? Jas left her job.
Yeah, a week after we closed, I decided it was time to leave my job. Things changed quickly. My boss was still awesome, but he ended up leaving the company. The culture and everything that I was promised completely kind of went out the window with that. So it was time for me to start job searching again, and I was very motivated because we had just bought a house in Costa Rica. Week after me leaving my job was another trip we had planned with our friends. They were coming to visit us in Costa Rica.
So we had 2 couples with kids come visit us, and we did the Manuel Antonio thing, one of our favorite places to entertain.
Right.
So it was a great time, and the timing was awesome with the closing of the house. The owner dropped off the keys the day before our friends were ready to leave.
That's right. So they got to see the house when it was still empty, but they got to see it after we had purchased it for the first time with us. It was a really exciting time.
Yep. So our friends leave, and it's moving week.
Right.
And we gotta hurry up because we got more guests coming.
Yeah, we have literally 1 week between our friends leaving and our next guest coming to move into our house.
So I took all the logistics as far as moving and setting up the house, and Jas handled the important stuff.
Yeah, like setting up the electricity, water, the internet. I made sure that we got internet the day that we moved in because we didn't want there to be any issues with that, especially because where we are, we don't have a lot of phone reception.
Yeah.
So I got those things taken care of. And then the other part, the big part, was job searching. So that's what I was doing.
Well, hold on, that is no small feat, too, for when you buy a house in Costa Rica. Getting utilities transferred to your name is not easy.
It was a pain, especially when you're talking about not having like a for real address. Our address is different for the water company versus the electricity company.
Addresses in Costa Rica is a whole nother story.
yeah. But it took a couple of weeks. It took a couple of weeks of every day doing something to get the utilities moved over. But we got it done.
Yeah, just in time for my sister and her boyfriend to arrive.
Yeah.
Katie is an avid traveler. She's been all over the world, and especially in Latin America and Brazil and stuff like that. And I think Ryan hasn't traveled as much outside the country, here and there. Mm-hmm. So it was a very cool dynamic, and we're so happy to host them in our new house that we just got settled into the week prior. And we went to one of our 2 favorite places to entertain.
La Fortuna.
La Fortuna, soaked in the hot springs. You know, we give people options. They choose these. We don't just go back to the same place all the time because that's all we know. But
so it was a good time. It was a nice trip. And we spent a lot of time outside of those things just enjoying the house. And it was nice to be able to enjoy it with our guests. They seemed very comfortable. And they were discovering things about the house as we were. For example, a lot of the flowers in our garden, we didn't know half the things that were there.
So with all of our entertaining, job searching, trying to build my business and moving, we, or at least I, haven't been paying attention to the numbers of Blogging Money Life until Jas comes to me and is like, hey, our numbers are great. They're rivaling my 13-year-old blog numbers.
Right. Our numbers were increasing rapidly every single month. From the month that we actually decided to go into a skeleton crew in February, up until April is when we really started to see a massive spike in organic traffic, monetization opportunities. We were seeing more income coming in. But yeah, the numbers started taking off. And I attribute a lot of that success to a couple of tools that we were using. SEMrush, which a lot of you probably already know about from our review, and Rank IQ, which is another awesome SEO tool that we use. So if you're curious about either of those or how they work together, check out our video on Rank IQ versus SEMrush to learn more about how they made a huge impact for our blog in a short window of time.
Believe it or not, we still have a baby during all of this.
Yeah.
And he is getting older. Though we haven't had a chance to sit down, we need to plan his 1-year birthday party.
That's right.
And Jas kind of takes the bull by its horns here. She commissions someone to bring a bouncy house, DJ, and do some face painting. We actually have a great space below the house to entertain, and that's where we put the bouncy house, and we had a piñata, invited our friends.
Luca had so much fun. I didn't think he would enjoy it as much as he did, but he loved the bouncy house, he loved the piñata, mostly just having the big stick to hit something with. Overall, it was a success. I think we were both tired and busy the entire time, but it felt really nice, since we don't have family here, to be surrounded with so many loved ones. Like, there are so many people that we've gotten close to in such a short window of time here that were celebrating Luca with us. Yeah, it was a really good time.
We've been running around like a chicken with its head cut off since we moved to Costa Rica. Very, very, very long time.
Pretty much.
And we finally have a home base. We decide to take some time to relax, you know.
Well, not really.
No, of course not.
We're less active than we've been in the past.
We're not constantly trying to meet deadlines as far as residency and buying a house and getting our driver's license.
Traveling,
and,
yeah.
So, we're into a house. We're relaxing just a little bit. And I've started planning home improvement. I'm replacing all the electrical fixtures, the light fixtures, plumbing fixtures. I found a Kohler here in Costa Rica. Got all new toilets, and we're planning the update for this 10-year-old house and making it more custom to us and putting our thumbprint on it. You know?
Yeah, and it's been nice. Shortly after, I got a new job again. So this is my second new job that I started in Costa Rica.
Let me just say this. The average for starting a new job is 3 months.
Or finding a new job.
Finding a new job is 3 months. That's when you're living in the States. Add a layer of complication, which is I don't reside in the States. Long story short, Jas got a new job within 2 months.
I did.
With a very nice title.
Yes, I'm a director now. So I have a great title. It's an excellent company. They're okay with me spending most of my year in Costa Rica, as well as me working remotely 100% of the time. So yeah, it seems like a really good fit, and I think we're both really excited about it.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. If you made it this far, my hat's off to you.
Yeah.
Before I go, we just want to acknowledge like how incredibly grateful we are to all the people that have helped us get where we are today and help us make this move to Costa Rica a success. Because it ain't easy.
Having that support from other friends and just some of the people Chris already mentioned before who was showing us the steps has made our journey so smooth, in my opinion. Like, yeah, we've had some ups and downs, but we haven't had anything that's like disastrous that has happened. And we think from all the help that we've received that is the case.
And if you're here and you're struggling, these people and these resources are out there. You just gotta reach out.
Well, thanks so much for watching our video. We hope that it was helpful for you. And if you have anything that you want to add or questions, feel free to add them in the comments below. And I guess we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.